Hello and welcome to Just a Guy with your social educator, your LLB, your loony left bully. That's right, it's me, Mike D, Mike Zuckerberg, back after a little bit of an absence. Sorry about that, guys. For those that follow, I was doing a lot of traveling, visiting some family that I haven't seen in quite a few years, actually. So we're back at it. Try to keep you guys up to date as much as I can. I do apologize. Today, we're going to take a look at President Trump's first few weeks in office and what some of his newly appointed cabinet members have been up to and the great job they're doing already. Okay. So, first of all, today is February 1st. I would like to say Happy Terrorist Day because that's what's going on today. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt announced the other day that a 25% tariff will be placed on goods from Mexico and Canada and a 10% tariff on Chinese imports. This is something Trump said he was possibly going to do. So this shouldn't come as a big surprise. Mexico's already preparing for it. Canada says they're preparing for it, right? And the reason given, and it's still the same reason, is they're holding these countries accountable for the role in their drug trafficking and securing fair trade terms. Okay? This is all going to help American workers, guys. So we obviously know that a lot of drugs and a lot of weapons and things are coming over these borders, Mexico and Canada, especially things like fentanyl. We don't have to go into that, right? Everybody knows the dangers of fentanyl and the numbers of the millions of times, the millions of pounds that are coming over, everything like that, right? So President Trump fulfilling one of his campaign promises of making a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico, 10% on imports for China, not just for the drug trafficking, but to also make it a little bit more fair for American workers. See, this isn't something that you can place the blame on the Democrat Party or the Republican Party, because if you guys remember, January 1st, 1994, we had a Republican Congress and a Democrat president and Bill Clinton, and both of them excitedly signed the NAFTA bipartisan bill, okay, the North American Free Trade Agreement. And from there, you saw the number of middle-class jobs just disappear, just go to Mexico, go to Canada, go overseas, right? So this isn't a Republican thing. This isn't a Democrat thing. This is a bipartisan bill that allowed the crap to happen here in the United States. So Trump is stepping back on NAFTA a little bit, and he's trying to make jobs come back to America. Hey, good afternoon, Mark. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So this doesn't take any blame for any particular party in this one, but Trump keeping a campaign promise, 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, 10% on imports in China, starting today. So as I said, Happy Terrorist Day, guys. Now, when Trump was talking about this, he also stated that the tariffs could increase further than 25% if Mexico and Canada do not take additional action. So in other words, if they're going to fight this and claw at it and try to stand up to President Trump, you might see 27, you might see 30, you might see 35%. Okay? If they're not willing to help out and reduce the drug trafficking, the weapons that are coming over here, the now terrorist organizations and these drug cartels, if they don't want to help out, the hell with them. Trump's doing the correct thing here. Okay? Now, if anybody wants to know if this is working, because this is just day one, I'm going to give you an example here shortly of exactly how it's already worked underneath President Trump. Okay? So, just about a week ago or so, President Trump ordered emergency 25% tariffs on all goods coming into the U.S. from Colombia. All right? And if they didn't get their act together, he was going to raise it to 50% within a week. Okay? This has already gone on. Why? Because their intelligent president decided that two of the ACOM repatriation flights, okay, whatever you want to call it, 2 flights full of 160 illegals were flown back down to Colombia, where their president said that they were not allowed to land and sent them back to the United States. Immediately, President Trump hit them with a 25% tariff on all goods. Not only that, he hit a travel ban and immediate visa revocations on the Colombian government officials. So they're not allowed, because they weren't allowed to land in Colombia. This is also on them. Visa sanction on all party members, family members, and supporters of the Colombian government. Enhanced custom and border protection inspections on all Colombian national and cargo national security grounds. IEEPA Treasury, which is a banking and financial firm, their sanctions are going to be fully imposed now. So all this came because their president decided that the people that he let over here illegally are allowed to stay over in America. He wasn't going to take them back. Again, guys, President Trump is not playing around. He's demanding respect back to America, and he's going to get it. How do I know this is working? Because that happened on a Friday. By the weekend, their foreign minister, Luis Gilberto Murillo, and their ambassador, Daniel Garcia Pena, already traveled to Washington, D.C., to hold high-level meetings with Trump and his administration. Okay? Murillo said, and I quote, "We will continue to receive Colombians who return as deportees, guaranteeing them dignified conditions as citizens with rights." So in other words, they're going to be coming back to Colombia just like they're supposed to. Okay? Then he said the Colombian nationals who were going to arrive today, when the president turned them around, will be on deportation flights tomorrow. Okay? And not only are they going to be flown from the United States to Colombia, Colombia is going to do it on their dime. In fact, they're using President Gustavo Petro's private plane to pick them up and fly them back home. Okay? You saw what President Trump enacted. The bunch of sanctions, the 25% tariff, and if you don't want to play ball, we'll bump it up to 50. Within 24 hours, guys, it wasn't the president. President Petro is a freaking idiot. He's an alcoholic drunk, okay? If you follow him on X, he rants and raves. Half the time he's drunk when he's doing it. His foreign minister and his ambassador had to step in and solve this problem. Okay? But they solved it. They went down, they met. And they guaranteed that every illegal Colombian that's in the United States that President Trump and his team ships back will go back to Colombia. Okay? And the White House press secretary, again, Caroline Leavitt, confirmed in a statement on Sunday night. The government of Colombia has agreed to all of President Trump's terms, including the unrestricted acceptance of the illegal aliens from Colombia. This is her words exactly, okay, I'm quoting. Return from the U.S., including on U.S. military aircrafts without limitation or delay. The visa sanctions issued by the State Department and enhanced inspections from Customs Border Protections will remain in effect until the first plane load of Colombian deportees is successfully returned. So, they were successfully returned. All the sanctions, the tariffs were taken away. Okay? But for all you loony left, all you socialists, Marxists, communists out there that are bitching and moaning about President Trump and his tariffs, he's already shown you within the first 2 weeks that they work. They work, guys. Unlike half of the people that vote for you, these work. So if anybody wants to know if President Trump is doing the right thing, he's already shown within the first 10 days by sanctioning Colombia that it works, because they folded within 24 hours. Okay? So these sanctions or these tariffs on Canada and Mexico at 25%, for those of you that are worried about it, they're either going to play ball or the jobs are going to come back to America, guys. It's a win-win situation. All right? And the president also said during one of his briefings, he's kind of a fan of President McKinley, if you haven't noticed. Okay? He's mentioned him quite a few times. He's renamed the mountain back to Mount McKinley like it should be when President Obama or whoever turned it into some Japanese word. Okay? He's a fan of President McKinley. Under President McKinley, we didn't have an income tax. We had tariffs. They collected enough taxes and tariffs that we didn't have to have a personal income tax. In fact, they collected so many taxes on tariffs and everything else that the United States had a huge surplus, which allowed FDR to create all these social programs that we see. And that's why FDR was so successful, because he had such a surplus from President McKinley. And then when he was running out of money, because he could have given shit away, he then instituted, well, not just him, but Congress instituted the income tax, which again was supposed to be temporary, right? So President Trump looking at the tariff system to possibly do away with personal income tax, I don't know. I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan of that. Let me keep the money that I make. And if your congressman isn't okay with repealing the amendment on the income tax, maybe it's time to vote a new one in. Check in with your congressman, see how they feel. Okay? So we're already seeing President Trump's campaign promises happening. What else has President Trump promised to his campaign? To secure the borders and do mass deportations. Right? Right from day one, borders were closed. He delivered on that. Okay? Now, the mass deportations. According to 2023's ICE report, of the illegal aliens that they know of, 57,081 were of them committed assaults, 18,579 sexual assaults and sexual offenses, 12,895 were weapons offenses, 11,822 were burglaries, 5,462 were robberies, 2,894 homicides, 2,766 kidnappings. That's just from 2023's illegals. Okay, so for all you loony left out there, all you socialist, Marxist, communists that are crying, Miss Selena Gomez, oh, these are my people, oh. Bitch, you're from Grapevine, Texas. Your people are Texan. And for the rest of you defending the criminals, let me know. If you want to defend them, we can ship you over there too if you're happier with them. No skin off my back. And for all you racist, loony left, that's right, I called you the racist, loony left. Well, who's going to sit there and pick all of our vegetables? If you think that's what they're good for, you're kind of showing your racism a little bit. You're saying that all these illegal aliens, they're not here because they can accomplish anything good. They're only here because they're the bottom of the barrel. So you tolerate, accept this left. Your racism's showing just a little bit. Okay? So let's take a look. What has President Trump and his people done so far? President Trump has already aggressively ramped up the number of people that they arrest from just a few hundred a day to at least 12 to 1,500 a day. Okay? And Tom Homan came out and he said, we're going after the worst of the worst first. All right? So don't, all these people that are talking about ICE coming into schools and kidnapping children right from their schools. They're not going to do that, guys. That's not what they're out there doing. Those numbers I read, that's what they're focusing on. They're focusing in on the people first to make your lives safer. If you think that by making America safer sucks, again, let me know. I'll gladly support you. I'll start a GoFundMe to get you the hell out of here. I don't care. Because if you think that having illegal criminals is what you want, I don't want you here any damn way. Right? So let's look at Mr. Tom Homan, the border czar, a real border czar, not the Kamala Harris border czar that opened the borders. I mean, a real border czar that's going to make America safer. Okay? He said, and I quote, when we see crime rate from illegal aliens goes down, that's success. Every public safety removed from this country is success. Every national security threat we find and remove from this country is a success. That's how he is looking at these illegal aliens and the deportations. Each one of these is a success for America, for me, for you, for Mark, for Orlando, for everybody else out there watching. Mr. Homan is proud of being the border czar. Mr. Homan is proud to make America a safer place. Okay? You don't think they agree? They went to Chicago. Where the mayor's like, oh no, I'm not giving up my people. I'm not giving up my illegals. right? Maybe you should talk to your personal resident there, Carter Truss. She's a Chicago resident. She said, and I quote, "I voted for President Trump. And let me tell you something. I was one of those lifelong Democrats who voted Democrat in every election except this last one. I'm so glad President Trump is now delivering on some of his promises." That's from a Chicago resident, guys. They're sick of seeing all these illegals in their cities too. And you got mayors and governors protecting them. And you wonder why you lost, you loony left. You still can't get it through your skull. You can't. We just saw a scream night at your own DNC convention to pick a new party leader. You guys still don't get it. And until you get it, you're going to continue to lose numbers in the House, the Senate, and hell, I hope they don't see the president for another 20 years. America will be a better place then. All right? And to give you some further numbers, ICE, also known as Immigration and Customs Enforcement, during the first week President Trump was in office, 7,300 illegals deported back home. That is awesome. Now, I know we have a long way to go. There's like 11 million of them that are over here. But week number one, 7,300 illegals taken out and gone away. Absolutely awesome. Okay. Starting out great, President Trump. Already showing tariffs working. Delivering on his campaign promises. Tom Homan out there being a true border czar. All right. Oh, I saw that, Mark, that McAllen said that they're not going to assist in getting rid of illegals. And that's fine. They're suffering the repercussions. They already have people out there protesting. So the McAllen government and police and everything else like that, if they don't get on board, they're not going to be there much longer. They're going to find out the hard way. And no, it's not a physical threat. I'm not Jim Jeffries from the Democrat Party that says we need to take this to the streets. I'm just saying that if these guys don't get on board and help make the community safer, the next voting cycle, they're going to be gone. And if they can do some sort of referendum and get them out sooner, I'm sure they will. All right. So yes, even Texas has their own loonies. Okay. We get all you crazy people from California and New York that want to live here for some, I get it. I get it. I lived in Ohio and Pennsylvania for years. I couldn't wait to get my ass to Texas. All right. But I wasn't one of those loony left. I wanted to move to Texas because I like what they were and I like what they are. You got the loony left here in places like Austin and McAllen that it's full of those socialist Democrats, the socialist Marxists, the socialist communists that come here and they think they're going to turn the state. All right. I got news for you. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. In fact, you lost ground this last election. So keep up the good work there. All right. Let's take a look at another one. Pete Hegseth. We all know he went through hell to get nominated, right? Congratulations, Mr. Hegseth, for not backing down, for doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, making sure that the American military and the defense systems are there to protect America. Okay? Now, when he walked into office, he was very clear. DEI is DOD. Right? In fact, he wrote it on one of his little placards there. DEI is dead on arrival. It's done. They ain't doing that in the Department of Defense no more. Okay? He's got about 4 different goals that he's going to be working on right away. He's already started on them. First goal is to ensure the department does not consider sex, race, or ethnicity when considering individuals for promotion, command, or special duty. Okay? So, if that was happening, it's not happening anymore. All right? You're going specifically based on your merit and your ability to accomplish that job or the promotion that you're up for. Okay? Second, the elimination of quotas, objectives, and goals for race, sex, or ethnicity in organizational composition, academic admission, or career fields. Okay? So no more do you have to have so many transgender, female, albino, black, whatever, unicorns enrolled or working for you. Okay? And a lot of places didn't have a specific quota, but they knew that if they weren't quote unquote diverse enough, that all that free money wasn't going to come their way. Okay. But that's going to be eliminated. All right. Third, they are going to end all instruction on training about DEI, critical race theory, or gender identity. So anything that's in the training sessions for DEI, critical race theory, or gender identity. That's all done. All that money stopped. That's good. That's done. You're done. No more. Okay? And we see this a lot in the school systems. All right? The federal government has offices dedicated to DEI. That's done. Okay? So all that training, all those hundreds of millions of dollars that Sleepy Joe, APM Joe decided to put into DEI, critical race theory, and gender ideology, guess what? That's drier than most of those lakes there in California. Okay? Well, not anymore. President Trump helped that out. But, way to go, President Trump. But all that's going to end. Right? He's going to disband any existing task force that deal with DEI, critical race theory, or gender identity too. So if you were on a task force or if there was a office dedicated to that, like I stated, that's all gone. We're spending money on what we're supposed to spend money on. Defending America. Okay? Not defending the transgender community or critical race theory, which is full of a bunch of lies. Right? Gender identity. Look, you don't know what gender you are? I got a suggestion. It doesn't cost much money. Look down your pants. It shouldn't be very hard. If you got an innie, you're a female. If you got an outie, you're male. And if it's really hard to tell, then you got problems. All right? There you go. There's my class on gender identity. Figured it out, right? We didn't even need to spend money on that. Yo, welcome Looney Left. There you go. Mike Zuckerberg helping you guys out. Right? So on top of all this, President Trump sends out an order. As of 5 p.m. yesterday, agency heads are to instruct all of their people to remove all references to gender identity from official materials. Not only that, but any use of pronouns in their email at all, Mike Zuckerberg pronouns his, her, them, theirs, his, our, whatever, all that stuff is gone, guys, as of 5 p.m. Friday. That was a directive made by President Trump. They had till 5 p.m. Friday to remove all that crap, and they're going to check in with them on Monday. And if you're not done by Monday, by the start of Monday, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people head rolling. All right? You might not have a job come Monday. There's zizzer. All right? Don't care. There's also instructions to medical staff at some Veteran Affairs facilities how to articulate the references to gender. Okay? So from now on, the use of gender is not allowed on any form. They can only use the word sex, and there's only two options, male and female. So from here on out, guys, when you go to the hospital, you go to the VA hospital, it's going to say sex. Male, female, MF, whatever it's going to say. There's not going to be gender, male, female, binary, unilaterally, sex anatomy, whatever you guys are. There's no more choices. It's sex, male, female, done. Circle it, move on. Don't care if you think you identify as a female. Don't care if you think you identify as hurricane season. Don't care. You're either a male or a female. Get over it. We're coming back to common sense, guys. Okay? It's happening 5 p.m. yesterday. All those pronouns, all those gender identity crap, all removed from the paperwork, all removed from the emails. All that stuff stops as of 5 p.m. yesterday. And it's not like he came in at like Friday morning and said this. He gave him a good week to figure this out. Okay? So if the agency heads didn't get to their people, that's on them. All right? They had enough advance notice to make this happen. Okay? But let's get back to Mr. Pete Hegseth. He was on a Fox News interview, and they asked him about the Mexican cartels being terrorist organizations and would they use any sort of military force because now they're a terrorist organization. Okay? And basically he said that military strikes against Mexican cartels is quote unquote on the table. All right, so to quote Mr. Hegseth, he said, "We're finally securing our border. We've been securing other people's borders for a very long time. The military is orienting, shifting towards an understanding of homeland defense on our sovereign territorial border. This is something that we will do and do robustly. So we're already doing it. Should there be other options necessary to prevent the cartels from continuing to pour people, gangs, and drugs and violence into our country, we will take that on. So the president will make that call. I will work with him in that decision-making process. Ultimately, we will hold nothing back to secure the American people. So what Secretary Hegseth said there was, look, we spend all this money, all this time defending everybody else's borders. We're over in the Middle East defending borders. We're over in Europe defending borders. It's about time we defended our own border. All right? And if these Mexican drug cartels want to keep coming up and keep starting gunfights with our people and keep bringing the drugs and the ammunitions and everything else and the child trafficking in here, and if it comes down to military action, Secretary Hegseth said, number one, first, that's the president's call, not mine. I will help with that decision-making process. I will give my 2 cents, and I will argue one way or the other as to why we do or do not need it. In the end, it's the president's decision, and I'm going to do whatever the president says. But if it comes to that, if it comes to having our military go down there and just destroy the drug cartels and kill them, I'm not taking that off the table quite yet, guys. But he's not coming straight out and saying yes. He's going to take it on a case-by-case basis. And again, ultimately, it's not his decision. He will have input in the decision with President Trump, but ultimately that last decision will be President Trump's. And he's going to follow it regardless whether he agrees with it or not. Okay, so for all these drug cartels, the Mexican ones, the Argentinian ones, the Colombian ones, if you don't stand down, you may get buried. See, it's about time we took action here in America. Okay, and I'm not talking BLM type action where we're going to burn our own cities and destroy our own small communities and destroy our own small businesses. I'm talking about going out there and actually defeating the bad guys. The guys that are killing your family members with drugs. The guys that are kidnapping your kids and selling them off to sex trade operations or killing them for organ harvesting. This is what Pete Hegseth is worried about here in America too. He's focusing on homeland border security as well. All right, you got Tom Homan working on it already. You got ICE and all those departments over there working on it already. You got Pete Hegseth and the Department of Defense working on it already. Guys, this is a great first couple weeks for President Trump. He's got a couple more people to get through. Tulsi Gabbard's having a little bit difficult time. RFK Jr.'s having a little difficult time. I believe they'll both get through. Pete Hegseth had a horrible, horrible time too, but in the end, he was confirmed. Okay, I believe that through the questioning process and the fact finding process, that you're going to find that Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. will get in. In fact, I love when RFK Jr. came straight at the socialist communist himself, Bernie Sanders, and he just said, "Look, you're sitting here asking me questions about Big Pharma. Guess what, guy? You were the third biggest Big Pharma donor recipient in Congress." Oh man, he got all upset about that one. Bernie Sanders had his little panties in a bunch there. He also came straight at Bernie Sanders too when Bernie Sanders asked him, "Well, isn't healthcare a right?" And he goes, "You mean like the freedom of speech?" This is RFK Jr. and I'm going to paraphrase. He goes, "You mean like the freedom of speech? Is that the right you're talking about?" He goes, when you have an industry like pharma that doesn't cure people, they just keep people sick so that they can make a profit. Now that so-called right is pulling money and resources out of other people's pockets. So no, it's different. That was a great answer by RFK Jr. All right, can't wait. I hope he gets in here soon because we need somebody in there. I know one of the biggest things holding him back right now are vaccines. Okay. But he's not stupid. He said, "Look, you show me science where it works, and I'll tell you I'm wrong." But thus far, all the science that I'm seeing isn't indicating that. All right? I don't know how many Amish people out there get vaccines, but you don't hear a whole hell of a lot of diseases coming out of the Amish communities that are affecting the rest of the United States. Okay, so just based on common sense, I think RFK might have a valid point there. But guys, again, I apologize. I know it's been a while since I've been on. Appreciate it. My schedule's changed. I did a lot of traveling. I'm going to do this as often as I can. Keep all you guys up to date. Keep continuing this army of social educators. And again, just like in the new army, we don't have any woke generals. So keep doing what you're doing, guys. We're obviously on a roll. You've seen the Democrat Party fall apart. It's due to people just like you out there that are reaching out to everyday Joes, informing them, being social educators yourself, doing what you need to do to keep America sane again. Keep it up. I love each and every one of you. Do me a favor. Sometime today I'm going to have this up on Rumble. I'm going to have this up on YouTube. Go over there. Just the guy Mike D on Rumble. Mike Zuckerberg, just the guy on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Let's carry this word. Let's keep educating everybody. I can't do it without each and every one of you out there. You know I'm going to pray for each and every one of you tonight too. Keep doing what you're doing. Until next time, Mike Zuckerberg out. Maybe not. This is what you get when you have slow connections.